The story starts as the grand hall that shines. In there a girl, the main character, says, "Your Grace." Olivia sits regally, her hands clasped, but her internal monologue reveals what she truly thinks. This man sitting before me is known nationwide as the impotent Duke Ian Tyrone, one of only 3 dukes in this empire, maternal cousin to the Emperor, gifted with both wealth and honor. Olivia's thoughts continue. So what if he's impotent? As if that's even a flaw. It doesn't matter. No, frankly, I prefer it. Olivia reflects. My second chance at life. I've meticulously measured the pros and cons, and reached a conclusion. Lord Tyrone is the answer. Ian smiles. So you're the famous Duchess, Lady Parnell? Olivia's hands clench her dress. No, Your Grace, you are mistaken. My name is Olivia Florence. You may address me as Lady Florence. Ian raises an eyebrow. However, are you not wed to the Duke? A flashback shows Olivia in a wedding dress, a look of grim determination on her face. Yes, the Duke, the jerk James Parnell. Never again will I, she replies. You mean my spouse, destined to not return from war for the next decade? She pours a cup of tea and says, according to imperial law, any marriage not consummated on its first night is rendered void. She sips her tea. And I, having never even seen his face, I am still Olivia Florence, she says with a smile. Ian returns the smile. What a daring remark. Okay, Lady Florence, what is your reason for requesting my acquaintance? Olivia says. Your Grace, have you heard the song that has spread throughout the streets? Ian smirks. Ah yes, the song, the lyrics of which suggest we are getting busy. Olivia pauses. Straight to the point. She clears her throat and says, those lyrics have put me in a difficult position, and I would like Your Grace to take some responsibility. Ian asks. Responsibility? What responsibility do you expect of me? Olivia grins. Duke Tyrone. She rises, her eyes sparkling with mischief. I request that you marry me. Ian's eyes widen in surprise. A few months ago, Olivia wakes up in a familiar room. As she opens her eyes, she thinks, it's already bright outside. Ugh, my back. She sits up, surprised. Huh, my back is actually fine. She looks around the room. This room looks like the one I used at the beginning of my marriage. The room from 20 years ago. Am I seeing things? She rubs her eyes. She rings the bell. Let's get a start on my birthday festivities. But there was no response. Olivia gets confused. She rings the bell again, harder. But there was no response again. Huh! She feels annoyed, and then smirks. The help must have lost their minds. She clenches her fists. About time I taught them a lesson. Olivia slams the door open and strides out. She calls out, Marcia. Yes, my lady. I am here. Marcia rushes to her, flustered. Why you called? Marcia asks nervously. Olivia glares at her. What is this? Why is no one coming at the ring of my bell? Marcia fidgets. That's because... Looking at her, Olivia notices her. Olivia grabs Marcia. Since when was Marcia this young? She doesn't look a day older than when she was first assigned as my personal maid. She smirks. I must have worked myself numb. She grabs Marcia's shoulder and says, I'm feeling exhausted after preparing all the festivities. Fetch me some peppermint tea, would you? Marcia is stunned. Huh? Fetch? Me? Olivia raises an eyebrow. Then who else? Olivia crosses her arms. That face, as if she's never done it before. Suddenly, a loud voice booms down the hallway. How dare you cause such a racket in the morning? Olivia gets shocked and thinks, how would I ever forget that voice? A flashback shows Olivia, under an umbrella, standing in the rain at a gravesite. She remembers, my first mother-in-law, who died of sickness 10 years ago. In confusion, she calls out, ma'am. A woman with a stern expression appears. First mother-in-law, the elegant jackass. Her first mother-in-law says, ma'am, you better address me properly as Madame Parnell. Just then another interjects. Oh my, who burdens me with such cacophony in the morning? Her second mother-in-law, the whiny jackass, says, I already had a headache to start the day. Olivia gets shocked, my second mother-in-law. That can only mean... Just then another voice shouts, these little shits! Her third mother-in-law, the ignorant jackass, yells, what are you going on about? Do you want me to shut you up? Olivia starts to laugh. Ha ha ha, she thinks. I guess at this point, it's pointless to deny that this is actually happening. The worn-down room. My 3 mother-in-laws. My God! Have I just come back to when I was 20 years old? In the future before she came back, the rain pours down on the Parnell estate as Olivia in black, face hidden by a lace veil, taps on a desk. She plops down on sofa. A loud clang echoes through the halls. Someone was coming in armor. As the Duke Parnell walks covered in blood, a maid gasps, "Your Grace." "Sir." But she shuts up as he looks at her with fiery eyes. "Is that blood?" Other maids whisper in shock. Someone opens the door, and it's James Parnell, Duke and Patriarch of House Parnell, covered in blood. Olivia stares, shocked. "It's you." Flash forward to the present, where Olivia looks dazed. "Tut tut," Lady Parnell scolds. "Just the table manners I would expect from someone so uneducated. Didn't your parents teach you it is impolite to daze off with company present?" Olivia retorts. "Ma'am." But she cut her off. "How many times have I told you? It's Grand Duchess Parnell." Olivia frowns and says, "Then why don't you do me the same courtesy and call me Lady Parnell?" Lady Parnell is not amused. "What did you say?" she demands. Olivia smiles sweetly. "In case you didn't notice, I'm the matriarch of this house. As His dear Grace is away at war, I act on behalf of all his authority in his absence. You whine at me, asking me to respect you, even when you are not prepared to respect me, the acting head of this household." Lady Parnell frowns, "You little," but Olivia thinks, "What a load off my chest." Her third mother-in-law, pointing a finger at Olivia, says, "Dear, what right do you have to call him that way?" Olivia replies evenly, Because he is my husband." Her mother-in-law pushed her chair away and yells, "You little brat, say that again." One of the other women at the table gasps, "My ears are ringing so much, I can't finish dining." "Could you please quiet down?" she mumbles. "I mean, it is times like this that I do assume all of you do this to just spite me." Olivia thinks to herself, "She's the same age I used to be. Does she realize how childish she sounds?" She decides, "Ha, screw this." Olivia looks directly at the whining woman. "Then you can dine alone in your chamber." Her second mother-in-law gets shocked. "What?" Olivia continues. "Do you really have to whine about everything like a spoiled little child?" The woman is near tears. How dare you?" Olivia's words hang in the air, leaving the others at the table speechless, her even sobbing. Lady Parnell, wiping her mouth with a napkin, says, "You must be completely insane." Olivia adds, "On the contrary, these are all sane things that needed to be said. In the absence of the Duke, Lord Parnell, I have the highest authority within this household, acting on behalf of the Duke. Please show me the proper respect." Furthermore, Lady Parnell shows no difference as Olivia continues, "I need you to waive the rights to the Parnell finances." Lady Parnell scoffs internally. "Wouldn't you like that?" One of the women at the table chimes in. "She's right, dear Miss Simpleton. We are not talking about chump change. This is House Parnell, one of the greatest houses in the Empire." Olivia retorts, "Do you even know what I majored in at the academy?" "It's accounting." She sighs. "I mean, I don't even see why I am asking for your permission." Olivia calls out, "Reginald." Reginald bows. "Yes, my lady." Olivia instructs, "In the future, bring all documents pertaining to the estate directly to my room, and prepare for me a large room that allows me to conduct work." Lady Parnell shouts, "Reginald!" Lady Parnell slams her hand on the table and says, "Choose your next word very carefully." Olivia, clenching on her seat, thinks to herself, "And she shows her true colors?" She asks Reginald, "Consider this, Reginald, who do you think you will be serving longer, me or her?" Reginald looks anxiously between the two women. He finally announces, "Regarding this matter, I will consult the Lord Duke himself directly." Her third mother-in-law fumes. "You dare to bother my son, tasked with fighting for this empire, with meddlesome letters." Olivia smirks. "That sounds like a great idea." She gets shocked and looks at her first mother-in-law. Lady Parnell looks at Olivia and smirks. Olivia, now alone, stomps into her room and slams the door. Sliding open a desk drawer, she retrieves a quill and paper. "They want a letter? They'll get a letter!" She begins to write. At the military barracks, James is shirtless, toweling off after a long day of war. Meanwhile, Olivia's letter to her husband reads, "Dear beloved husband, suffering in the heart of war. While I apologize for suddenly burdening you with matters of our household, I must divulge that I am completely excluded from all internal matters of our estate, stuck in a corner room like the help, without the proper treatment that a lady of the household deserves. Given the opportunity to handle matters of our estate, I vow to take it as my personal responsibility to double the size of our estate upon your Grace's return. I also affirm that this is not only a matter of our estate, but a matter of peace in our household and home, and request that you side with me on this matter at hand, hoping for your Grace's safe return." Your spouse, Olivia. James sits alone in his room at night, rereading Olivia's letter. Then he looks up in the sky. Olivia explains, the Parnell estate has 3 different jackasses. First, the whiny jackass, the second mother-in-law, always complaining. Then there's the ignorant jackass, birth mother to the Duke, also a second mother-in-law, constantly flying off the handle. And finally, the elegant jackass, the first mother-in-law, who through conniving means has taken control of the estate. The former Duke introduced multiple wives with the sole purpose of continuing his bloodline. The moment she married into this household, this pile of excrement was waiting for her. But now, she's got a second chance at life, back as her 20-year-old self, and she's started a small revolution. She has to reconstruct the estate finances ruined by Lady Parnell, protect the peace of this household, and protect herself. Later the 2 maids murmur as they watch her. The thought of it all makes her smile. But then a servant interrupts. Reginald says, "Ma'am, a letter from His Grace." It's sealed with the Parnell crest. Her eyes widen. She opens it, expecting something. But as she reads, her face contorts in disbelief. "Please do not cause further divide in the household. Listen to what my mothers have to say. You. She rips the letter to shreds, screaming, "Son of a bitch!" She falls to the floor. Was I being too naive? She thinks to herself. I mistakenly assumed this second chance at life would just be a breeze. Of course James would do that. Then and now, he never sides with me. He hugs her. I'm screwed. Completely screwed. The 3 mothers-in-law loom over her, smirking. A few days later, in her room, her chimney was empty. Her things were also empty. And she was served stale bread. Crap. She shivers in bed, thinking. Those salty jackasses. The cost of the revolution was high. She went to find the firewood. She finds one of the mother-in-laws holding a basket of firewood, smiling wickedly. The drastic treatment began after the war for authority was lost. Back in bed, she stabs at a piece of bread with a knife. I was too naive, of course he sides with him, mummies. She stabs the bread again. Am I supposed to stay with a man who doesn't have my back? She picks up the bread, and was about to throw it, but her third mother-in-law come barging. She glares at Olivia during the act. Olivia gets stunned and doesn't throw it. Her mother-in-law asks, Are all daughter-in-laws this lazy? She asks, glaring. Your mother-in-laws are awake and about, while you just lie there. She adds, smirking, You better expect that James will have scum like you removed from this household the moment he returns. She jolts up in bed. What? A flashback shows James, bloodied and bruised. She thinks, Wait, this is my second chance at life. There's no need for me to hold on to James again. She snickers to herself while her mother-in-law is confused. She grabs the mother-in-law's hand and says, Ma'am, you are truly a genius. The mother-in-law asks, What are you? What do you mean? She smirks, thinking, James Parnell, we are done. Later she walks outside, thinking, Either way, how to make this divorce a reality. The dukedom, House of Parnell, is blade to the empire, a family in service to the empire for over a century. But even this thriving household, she picks a rose, in recent years left only one heir, James. The empire needed to justify sending the sole heir of this household to war. If he is unwed, he cannot be sent to war, the emperor suggests. If that stands as the issue, why don't we just find him a suitor? She thinks. And I was that very suitor, chosen as a justification. She holds the rose. And solely because the Duke and I share a birthday, she cries out. Arar, how can I nullify this marriage? She sighs, sitting down. She picks at the petals of the rose. Should I just go to the emperor in tears? That my impotent husband was incapable of consummating our marriage? She shreds the rose. But that's not the case with James, is it? Flashbacks of them together play in her mind. On the contrary, she blushes, thinking, if we were to actually talk impotency, I did hear the emperor had a cousin who fits the label better. 2 years ago, at a party, as the nobles dance, a tipsy girl says, My lady, be careful. But she bumps into someone, spilling her drink. The drink crashes to the floor. Be careful, my lady, someone asks. Are you okay? Ian Tyrone catches her arm. She says, Why, your grace? He steadies her. Murmurs fill the air as everyone watches. The girl thinks nervously it had to be Duke Tyrone, of all people. Wait. Her face flushes as she realizes this could be her chance to capture his attention for good. I feel dizzy, she says, leaning. Embrace him, your grace, she says, a sly smile spreading across her face. Just like the other night. What? So those two got together? One lady whispers. The other murmurs, "My gosh, can you believe that?" But suddenly Ian slaps his hand against her and says, "I'd embrace you, but you don't even get me semi-hard." The girl and everyone there gets shocked, and we see the Duke's lack of reaction. Someone murmurs, "Oh dear heavens," and from that day on, the nationwide title for him was the impotent Duke. Olivia thinks, but there's no one better to remarry than him. What a bother. How do I bag that passionless man? Suddenly she heard, "Lily Bridge is falling down. Oh my darling!" A maid sings, marching up the stairs. The people of this empire loved music. Even the bards of the streets made a fair wage from singing. The bards were normally tasked with creating songs about the empire's celebrities. She decides, "That's it. I should write a song, with some steamy lyrics of romance," she thinks, imagining herself in his arms. A few days later, street urchins are singing. The Duchess, Lady Parnell, couldn't stand her lonely nights. Every night, her window ajar, firing up her lantern lights. Into her chambers, the secret visitor comes up, getting busy with a man, who we know can't get at you up. Meanwhile, Romeo Alkesis, a friend of Olivia, asks, "You made sure the letter reaches Ollie?" His servant replies, "Yes, sir." He sighs and wonders, "Olivia, what are you up to?" In his letter he writes to Olivia, "I did as you asked, but I'm concerned of the song getting out of hand." Olivia responds in her mind, "Great work, Romeo. No wonder he's destined to become an imperial consort." Romeo Alkesis, her best friend, and future imperial consort of this empire, thanks to the bards that the wealthy Alkesis house of countship supports. The song was a major hit. Just a week after its inception, rumors were spreading through the empire. Not a single imperial citizen could go about without knowing this song. Olivia overhears a maid singing. The Duchess, Lady Parnell, couldn't stand her lonely nights. Every night, her window ajar, firing up her lantern lights. She muses, "Maybe I should have been a lyricist. This asks for a follow-up project once this works out." She thinks, "The husband bird, such a dumbass Tweety. His three mother birds so whiny and sure." She grins. Olivia writes, "No worries, Romeo. This song getting out of hand is exactly what I want." She remembers her mother-in-law's torture and continues, "This is hell. Divorce is not the worst, but the best I can ask for. Thanks for listening to my favor. Your dear friend Olivia." Then she thinks, now it's time for Lord Tyrone to make his move. 3 days later, the Duke's mother bursts into Olivia's room. "Why, you little... People must have seen you out and about like a proper flizzy. No wonder such songs are in the streets." Olivia, without blankets, thinks, "Damn, it's cold." She innocently replies, "Ma'am, I have no idea what you mean. You know very well. I haven't been permitted to leave my quarters in weeks." The Duke's mother stammers. Then, Olivia continues, "I really don't see why you are so mad, but please calm down." The Duke's mother's patience snaps. "Calm? Does it look I can stay calm? You are tainting my son's precious name." Olivia wonders. "And how is that any of my business?" Olivia asks. "What are you on about?" The Duke's mother says, "Madame Rosa was at a tea party today, and all the ladies there were telling her." At the tea party a woman asks, "Madame Parnell, have you heard the rumors?" Lady Parnell asks, "Rumor? What rumor, may I ask?" Of the women says, "That your daughter-in-law, Lady Parnell, and the Duke, Lord Tyrone, are getting busy. Olivia plays innocently. "Oh my, they're saying that on the streets. What a shame for me, and the Duke must be so embarrassed." Her mother-in-law yells, "Embarrassed my friggin' ass! What about these ignorant mongrels tainting my son's name? You should be cheering your war hero husband, not letting his name be left used as a joke." Olivia stops her. "That is rather odd," she exclaims. "How did such a rumor come to be, when I am locked in these quarters?" She grins, saying, "I'd better confront the man in person." Olivia receives a letter. 3 p.m. At the Aramir, Ian Tyrone. Olivia thinks, "At the Aramir, he really isn't leaving anything to chance." The Aramir was the most popular tea house in the capital, the perfect place for the Duke to rid himself of any rumors of secret encounters. Looking in the mirror, she thinks, "Not that the situation fares bad for me either." Obviously, Romeo was already making a fuss about the matter. The Emperor himself mentioned the matter at the Grand Council. Anything fares better than repeating another torturous 20 years. Olivia thinks, "Ian Tyrone, you will have to accept my offer." Meanwhile at Tyrone household, a servant says, "Your Grace, the letter was delivered to the Duchess." The Duke smirks. "Is that so?" A carriage arrives, bearing the seal of House Parnell. "Of course, All the gossips are whispering already. That lady is the Duchess, the one in the rumors. Olivia, unfazed by the whispers, thinks to herself. Chatter all you want. This is not my first rodeo. She remembers her past where she was remarked reckless, without any sense of manners. She thinks, even those awful experiences have prepared me for this. At the fancy establishment, she walks around. A servant asks, Do you have a reservation, ma'am? Presenting herself, she states, Yes, I do. It should be under His Grace, Lord Ian Tyrone. The waiter, slightly flustered, says, Oh, I see. Come this way. As they walk, she notes that their sitting was ahead from all the other nobles. She thinks, Perfect positioning for the occasion. The waiter announces, Right here, ma'am. But she observes, He's not here yet. With a devious smirk, she thinks, A game of wits? Then aloud to the waiter, she asks, So, what tea courses do you offer here? When he's clearly confused, she presses, Tea courses, what is your selection? Stop making me repeat myself. The waiter, now thoroughly rattled, says, Excuse me, we have 6 types of courses, handpicked by our tea master. This menu should describe the details of each course. Olivia accepts the menu, replying, Very good. Settling into a chair, she thinks, Doesn't hurt to indulge once in a while. Time to drink up on the Duke's tap. She orders, Could I get the fruit tea, flower petal tea please, some pour? She orders various things moment by moment. Finally, savoring her tea, she thinks, Now that's what I call tea, so good. She then calls out, Excuse me. At that moment, footsteps approach. Lord Ian Tyrone appears. He comes to her then. Near her he turns to sit in front of her. She thinks, Are you kidding me? Aloud, she begins, I heard a lot about you, but no one told me you were so ill-mannered, Your Grace. He looks at her straight then smiles. Are you, the Duchess, Lady Parnell? Flashback to 3 days ago. A carriage arrives at the palace. An attendant bows. Greetings, Your Grace. Then he knocks at the door. Your Majesty, the Duke, Lord Tyrone has arrived. As the door creaks opens, the king bursts out. Ian, my beloved cousin! As he grabs Ian in a hug. Ian groans. Ugh, come on, sire. The king insists. The entire world could believe in those rumors. But not me. No way. No way indeed. Ian looks at him in confusion. The king then exclaims, I hear you finally have yourself a lover. Ian, covering his face, mumbles, Oh my goodness. He then firmly states, That is definitely not the case. Did you not arrange the Parnell marriage yourself, Your Majesty? He brushes it off. We can just retract that. Lord Parnell is already at war, and I doubt he'll return just to save his marriage. I doubt anyone would frankly care. Ian simply says, Well, I don't care for it. Just then the king calls, Ian. He looks serious and says, There's not much to marriage. You meet, and you go through thick and thin as you live together. Look at me. The only reason I was linked with the Empress was because of a shared birthday. The former Duke was a little less lucky, but most people live ordinary lives like that. Ian, looking troubled, says, I really don't see the need. I am doing pretty well by myself. The king questions, But you would still bear those heinous rumors? Ian, looking away, wonders, I question her motives. Why did she have to go this far? The king counters, I considered it to be a smart move. How daring is it to throw an imperial arranged marriage out the window? He urges Ian, Why don't you just meet her? Ian protests, I do not want to. The king, slapping him playfully, insists, That's not going to stop her from contacting you. I stick with what I said. I want this to happen. Ian finally relents, thinking, At least I can say no to her in person. Back in the present, again, Olivia states, Your Grace, I request that you marry me. And Ian thinks, Who even is this woman, Your Grace? She says with a sweet smile. I request that you marry me. Lord Tyrone is caught completely off guard. Who even is this woman? The Emperor had mentioned her daringness, and it's clear now what he meant. Ian remarks, Rarely am I lost for words. She coolly replies, I'm sure you are. He throws out a curveball. You don't mind if I'm impotent? Without missing a beat, she says, I actually prefer that. Adding, Matters of the bedroom are not my cup of tea, not even my coffee. Ian asks, Is that supposed to be a joke? With a playful smile, she replies, You are out of touch, Your Grace. That was pretty funny. He sighs, so she thinks, I expected him to be angry. I guess he's more patient than I expected. Ian begins to explain himself. I am not a man of many words, not that witty, and basically, I am indifferent to others, he concludes. I can assure you, whatever you expect from me, you will be disappointed. She thinks to herself, smirking. Dear boy, this old girl is far past having fantasies about marriage. She compares him to her late husband. Come to think of it, James was also not a man of many words. The Duke, just now, has spoken more words than what James would say in a week, she replies. I've had my share of living alone. She leans forward. Lord Ian, you have no parents, correct? He replies. Yes, they both passed away. Then suddenly she says, So why don't we get married? He jolted in shock. What? I am making a deeply rational decision in asking for your hand, she says. Not a joke or prank. Let's get married. Ian is taken aback and fell in thoughts. Looking at him, she thinks, no wonder the Emperor is concerned. His one cousin, an impotent man with no thought of marriage. But this may fare better for me. Internally, she concedes. If he had heard the rumors, he is likely to fully support his marriage. But first things first, let's get this Duke in the game. Then she took a breath and says loudly, Are you to tell me that you were simply fooling me all along? She shouts. Upon hearing that, teacups fell across other tables. She continues, If not. Ian quickly covers her mouth. He has soft hands unlike James, she thinks. Why am I comparing him with my darn husband? Ian says. In a matter of minutes you've managed to get me worked up. He leans in close, glancing at her. Okay then, he says with a sigh. Let us continue this in a private room. They move to a private room, where the servant says, Enjoy your time. She holds up a hand. Wait, a smoky Earl Grey, to cleanse the palate. No need for dessert, she says. Ian says, You enjoy your tea. Yes, one of my few indulgences, she replies. Both stares at each other without speaking. Why don't we get married? She repeats, smiling. He's flustered. Can you just stop with that? She thinks. Look at him, not knowing what to do. I recall the older Ian being quite cold. I guess that's the youth talking, she says firmly. I will stop once you accept my request. Why me? Ian asks, bewildered. One scandalous song in the streets, and you jump to this solution? Why such an extreme decision? She replies. I think I have already explained myself. The song in question has put him in a difficult position. My mother-in-laws are after me. So given the situation, I would rather have that song just become fact. Ian responds. That simple of a reason? Simple, she replies with a terrifying expression. You clearly haven't faced the wrath of my mother-in-laws. Ian concedes. Forgive me for that comment. All is forgiven, she replies. He takes her hand, and she says, I like the fact that you have no parents in need of serving. The fact that you are not a man of words, that you would be indifferent to your wife. The fact that you can't get it up, it's all okay. So just marry me. Ian turns his face away embarrassed. She requests, Could you please answer? She grabs his hands. Excuse me. A servant interrupts. Both retreated quickly. The servant presents tea and says the smoky Earl Grey, as requested. Olivia, with not much etiquette, pours the tea and thinks. Ugh, what else can I do? He asks. Do you like smoky Earl Grey? It's not my favorite, but I am fond of it, she replies, pouring the tea. He pours him one and says inwardly, Get a taste of this, you little. He pauses, then says, I accept. The Duchess gets shocked. Ha! She puts down her cup, and he drinks the tea in one gulp. He says again, I accept your proposal. He smiles. I was starting to grow tired of you anyway. He offers his hand. Let's go. She was taken aback and replies, Excuse me? She grasps his hand and stands. Should I head back and await your response? She asks. He looks confused. Await? Back where? He clarifies. Is there any need for you to return to the Parnell estate when you are set on marrying me? He seems to be having a bit of a crisis. Then adds, Let us head back to my estate. Her eyes widen with excitement. At Tyrone Estate. Inside, she thinks to herself, Well, that was easier than expected. The maid peeks out from behind the door, whispering. Olivia says in her mind, I don't blame them. Even I didn't expect this to actually work out. She smiles to herself. I thought I was the daring one. It seems I found my match. Well, that's one less thing to worry about, she decides. First thing after the marriage, I remodel this harsh reception chamber. Duke Tyrone enters. I ask for your patience. There wasn't a chamber ready for such a sudden guest. She waves him off. No need to worry. I'll slump down on this sofa, if I have to. She internally rages against her former home. Any couch would be better than the rotting pile of hay back home. That trash hole, and those damn jackasses. Hopefully, I will never see them again. He sees her covering her ears. He sighs and says, I don't know how they treated you at the Parnell estate, but that is not allowed of a duchess of this estate, he declares. She perks up. Then I'll just share quarters with you. No danger from you. He flinches, so she thinks, I guess I'll never be welcome in his bed. As he frowns, she thinks, he can act like an adult all he wants. I can tell what he's thinking. He asks, why is it that my impotence doesn't bother you? She replies, I don't care much for children, and don't want to bear any. In her past life in a snowy night, before she was brought back, she twice bore children. After a life-threatening birth, she couldn't muster any care for her babies. After birth, as she was lying in bed, the nanny told the maids, it was an extremely difficult birth. She will have to stay bedridden for some time. A maid asks, Madam, would you care to hold your child? In exhaustion, she shakes her head. The Duke enters. The nanny says, Your Grace, the child is healthy. But the Duchess. He looks at her, then states, I must leave. Please take care of her. The nanny asks, leaving already? As he left, she says, did he even look at her? Poor madam. She concludes, I never want to go through that again. Even if I never see my children again. Back in the present, she says, I am well aware of the horrendous later years of noble women who do not bear children, but that doesn't stop me from not wanting children. I would rather better prepare myself for those years. Ultimately, I don't care for your impotence. On the contrary, I prefer it, he replies. Is that so? She asks. You accept the matter so easily. Isn't bearing an heir an important matter for you? She smiles slyly. She points at him. I'm not one to preach, but accepting everything like that could hurt you in the future. You should be more cautious with important matters. Then she grins. And why am I scolding him on this? He says, I'm not blindly accepting everything. The matter truly does not concern me. She leans in. Truly? But won't this be the end of your bloodline? He replies, I don't think I need to really explain myself here. She smirks, then sits down and thinks, I guess at the end of it all, he can't get it up. She stares at him. He asks, could you please not stare like that? She shrugged it off. Excuse me, did I do something wrong? He says, you stare at me with a gaze full of utmost pity. She denies it. You are mistaken. Why would I dare pity your grace? He stands there bewildered. She muses. She thinks, sorry I'm messing with you, but your reactions are priceless. Then he steps closer. She notices. Why do I feel him moving closer? He leans in closer. Olivia is caught completely off guard. Wall, what is going on? She stammers, clearly flustered by the sudden affection. Ian, with a cool and collected demeanor, gazes down at her. Olivia is momentarily captivated, thinking, damn, that face though. He hums thoughtfully, tilting his head. Where in heavens did you come from? He asks, his eyes piercing. Olivia shivers as he grasps her hand. What? She utters softly, still trying to process what's happening. Let me tend to my business now, Ian says smoothly. He then adds with a smirk. There is a mountain of tasks at hand to prepare for our wedding. Olivia can only reply, I guess so. In Olivia's mind, Ian is told, don't lean in on me like that without explaining yourself. Ian just gives a small, oh, before leaving Olivia, who smiles after him. I'll see you later, Olivia, he says before departing. Olivia is left alone, wondering. Huh. She sprawls on the couch. Is he actually impotent? She ponders. All the rumors do say he can't get hard. Can a man with no masculinity have such masculine vibes? Ian's masculine physique comes to her mind. Nope, she concludes. He was unmarried even after 20 years. The rumors are definitely true. Suddenly, the door creaks open. A servant announces, Madam, your room is prepared. Olivia beams, thinking, whoa, the preparations were faster than expected. As she sleeps soundly, James gently shakes her awake. My wife, open your eyes, dear wife, he whispers. Olivia stirs, her eyes fluttering open. She gasps, James. He leans in close, his eyes intense. Olivia's breath hitches. James, she cries, adding, stop. James just stares down at her. Olivia's eyes glow red with fury. She strikes him across the face. James, holding his cheek, she murmurs, I've never heard you speak with such a begging tone. Olivia's eyes blaze. Don't mess with me, she hisses. You're disgusting, she spits out. Olivia jolts awake with a gasp. Arg! She realized that it was a dream. She clutches the sheets. Just a dream, she sighs in relief. One bad dream, that's all. The next morning, Olivia is informed of their next destination. What? she asks in disbelief. Visit the Imperial Palace? Ian confirms. Yes, His Majesty awaits us. Olivia thinks to herself, looking at Ian. He sure is a looker. As Ian was about to sit, he calls out, enter. Olivia gets confused as two maids rush in with food. Yes, Your Grace, they say. Olivia is surprised. Enjoy, she is told. Olivia is still confused. I thought we were visiting the palace, she asks. Ian replies. We're to be married. A proper breakfast is first in order. I really don't think, she starts to say. I mean, His Imperial Majesty has called upon us. It's okay, dig in. Ian replies, unconcerned. Olivia wonders. Is he sure it's okay? As far as she can recall, the Emperor was a frightening man. When I had made my mark as a duchess, the throne had been passed to the Crown Princess Startes. The Emperor had abdicated early. Countless fools were foolish enough to disrespect Empress Startes for being a woman on the imperial throne, in response to which, the former emperor executed countless unspeakable deeds, including a bloody purge of the fools. Romeo used to complain about the harsh treatment he received from the former emperor. Ollie, I'm practically suffocated by my in-laws, Romeo cries. Olivia replies. Suffocated by in-laws? He says. I'm sorry. Olivia thinks to herself. I'm still glad Romeo was there, and is still by my side through all of this. The fact that I can take this peaceful breakfast feast, it's all thanks to Romeo listening to my favor. Our friendship was an easy target of scandal for the blabbering mouths of the empire. But thanks to the imperial decree of Empress Startes, we were permitted this friendship through all the rumors and nonsense. In her mind she says, respect to Empress Startes too. Being a duchess alone is hard work. How does she live as a monarch? As she was busy thinking, Ian observes her while he drinks his water. At breakfast, Ian's grilling Olivia about her plans if she had refused his proposal. What were your plans if I had declined your offer? Olivia is taken aback. Excuse me? Ian continues. What if you started those wild rumors, but the marriage did not go through as planned? Olivia, arms crossed, retorts. Then my mother-in-laws would have kicked me out in due time. Ian stares intently. You would return to the Florence estate, as all debts are paid off? Olivia's eyes widen. She recalls a scene. At night, lantern in hand, Olivia walks through the dark hallways. She overhears a conversation. Lord Florence, am I correct to understand that the Parnell estate paid off all your debts? Viscount Lord Florence, Olivia's father, replies. Yes. I consider it a proper offering for marrying off my children. Olivia with the lantern grips it tightly, her knuckles white. Her father continues. I am doing well in the business of selling off my daughters. Never knew the two girls would do me any good. What a relief, he laughs. You should have seen the look on the madam's face. Priceless. Olivia, still outside the door, is visibly shaken. Back at breakfast, she replies. No way. Knife to my throat. I would never set foot in that household again. I can assure you that you don't want anything to do with the human cesspool. That is the Florence estate. Ian sighs. The more I speak with you, the more you confuse me. You have obviously led an unhappy life. Olivia cuts him off. Are you going to finish that sentence? Ian waves it off. Never mind. Dig in. We have business to attend to after breakfast. Olivia is surprised. Business. Romana, the head housekeeper, greets them. Greetings, madam. I am Romana, the head housekeeper and manager of all general affairs of the household. Olivia thinks. The people here are already set on calling me madam? She smiles. Greetings, Romana. Romana informs her. The tailor awaits, madam. Please follow me. Olivia asks, confused. A tailor? Ian explains. You are to make the acquaintance of His Majesty, and all your clothes are back at the Parnell estate. Olivia is flustered. His Majesty has already waited too long. Shouldn't we be rushing over? Ian, unconcerned, replies. He's probably excited beyond measure. A little tardiness never killed anybody. Olivia's inner thoughts are interrupted, imagining the Emperor saying, You dare make me wait. Olivia rolls her eyes. Blah, whatever. So stubborn. She gives in. Sure, show me the way. Romana replies. Of course. As they walk, Ian follows them. Olivia wonders. Does he plan on watching me get fitted? Romana opens the door to the tailor's room. This way, madam. Olivia is awestruck by the beautiful dresses. The tailor greets her. Greetings, madam. Olivia corrects him. You may call me Lady Florence. The tailor bows his head. Greetings, Lady Florence. The dress selections are to your left, she suggests. How about something with a shade of wine? Salmon pink works too, the tailor asks. Do you plan to have it match your eyes? The tailor turns to Ian. His Grace will be wearing. Olivia interrupts. We're not even married yet. No need to have matching tones. The tailor is flustered. Ian says simply, As you wish. Olivia smiles. You heard him. Olivia is pleased while Ian observes her. A few hours later, they're rushing to the Imperial Palace as the Emperor called them again. Olivia thinks, I told him we should have hurried. He ended up making the Emperor send an official letter. Ian notices the tension on her face and asks, Has the Parnell estate run into hard times? Olivia asks. Why are my garments not to your standards? Ian replies. Yes. Olivia thinks, This is still the best outfit I had. She smiles. You can always show me better things after we are wed. You better prove to me that I made the right choice in asking you. Ian remains silent. He thinks, Surely, a weird lady indeed. They arrive at the Imperial Palace. Ian and Olivia are greeted by the Emperor. Dear cousin-in-law. The Emperor hugs Ian tightly, who seems uncomfortable. Olivia curtsies. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Your Majesty. The Emperor helps her up. No need for a courtesy. Please get up. He then nods, pointing towards his aide. The servant obliges. The Emperor says, Before we begin, let's have your signature. He presents her with a document. Olivia is shocked. It's a certificate of marriage. It lists Olivia Florence and Ian Tyrone as the parties. Olivia and Ian are about to be married, but the Emperor is moving a little too fast. This is... Olivia looks down at the marriage certificate, shocked. How can the imperial seal be on the certificate, even before either party's signature? She thinks to herself that the Emperor is really eager to make this happen. She turns to the Emperor. I have but one inquiry, Your Majesty. He impatiently responds. What is it? Speak, she explains. I am afraid of the aftermath of such a sudden annulment of my existing marriage. May I suggest we sign after matters with the Parnell estate are sorted out? The Emperor bursts into laughter. Muhahaha. He waves his hand dismissively. His aide presents Olivia with another document. The Emperor adds, What aftermath? The Parnell household preemptively sent over the annulment documents. Olivia is clearly surprised. Excuse me? They already sent the annulment document? She looks down at the paper, labeled proof of annulment. They sent it this fast, she thinks. The Emperor explains. The Parnell estate had sent a courier, just in case they would change their mind. I was swift to accept. He holds up the document. And this copy will also be sent to the Duke, Lord Parnell, currently away at the war campaign. Olivia snickers in disbelief. Ha, she thinks. Those jackasses will never change. I'm glad there's no second thoughts. She tells the Emperor. Then I accept, Your Majesty. She picks up a quill. I will sign. She puts pen to paper and signs the document. Emperor Advisor brings the document to Ian. Your Grace. As he takes a look at it, Olivia wonders to herself. I already signed. Is he having second thoughts? She leans in to look. She nudges him. Ian, this is when you sign. Ian then turns to the Emperor, Your Majesty. Ian snaps. Did you even hear me? The Emperor teases him. Yes, darling cousin, the love of my life. The Emperor is far too eager. Ian points out. I don't suppose you would officialize this marriage with a mere sheet of paper? Olivia thinks. What is he up to? The Emperor continues. What? Oh, of course, there will be a grand wedding. This is just in case you two change your minds. To lock, he catches himself. Lock local administrative procedures, of course, Olivia says inwardly. He was going to say lock it down. Ian thinks to himself. He turns to the Emperor. If that is the case, I request the Diamond Hall. Olivia gets shocked. Your Grace. Of all the many ballrooms of the Imperial Palace, the Diamond Hall was known to be the most extravagant, and open only for imperial festivities. This was where Romeo's wedding to Empress Thartas was held. Olivia wonders. He wants such a location open for my wedding? The Emperor shakes excitedly. I surely believed in you, dear cousin. No way you are impotent. With such a fantastic item in store. Olivia is confused. Fantastic item. The Emperor clears his throat. Ahem. He continues. I'll have it held there, even next week if necessary. I'll ask the Empress for a favor. Make sure you get all the help you need. Ian and Olivia. Thank you, Your Majesty. As they walked together, she recalled the Emperor telling her. I leave him in your hands, Lady Florence. She stares at him, so he asks. Do you have something to tell me? She questions. Your cousin surely had a burden on his mind, Ian says. Burden? Because of me? She nods, so he responds. His concerns are his, and his alone. especially when he has nothing better to do these days. She points. I think he was a little more excited than having nothing better. Ian says. So with that done, I think it's time we sort out what we call each other. She asks. Call? Why don't we just do what we've done so far? Ian raises his hand to her cheek and says, Dear wife. Ian whispers, Dear wife. Olivia's face flushes. She remembers James calling her the same thing. A memory of her previous marriage? She clutches her chest. No, not that. Olivia insists, but Ian is already thinking. He leans in, murmuring, Then, Olivia. He whispers into her ear. Ard, can you please not whisper in my ear like that? She demands. She shuffles back. He chuckles. If that is my dear wife's request. She frowns. I said don't call me that. I really don't like that. He muses. I was correct. Olivia's bewildered. About what? He says. Nothing. She wonders. Seriously. He turns away. It's getting late. Shall we head home? He offers his hand. Olivia sighs in relief. Phew. They walk back to the palace. Later a letter arrives from the imperial palace. A decree to hold the wedding in 2 weeks' time. Olivia's shocked. That soon. With a tight schedule, everyone's in a rush. Ramana takes over. With all the knowledge of the estate, took preparation into her own hands. I really feel like I'm doing nothing. Olivia thinks to herself. Later she peeks in Ian's office. As he was busy in piles of work she offers, Give me that. I'll approve things myself. Olivia approaches, hands on her hips. Ian asks, You will? She says, I can handle it. I handle matters at the Parnell estate. He begin. But, she cut in. I'm telling you, I can handle it. The Empress is handling the large matters anyway. All because a certain somebody requested the Imperial Palace Diamond Hall. He thinks for a moment, then relents. Then I will leave it in your hands. Then he orders, Ramana, be sure to assist the Duchess. Ramana replies, Yes, Your Grace. Olivia waves goodbye. Then I'll see you around. As she was about to leave, Ian calls, Olivia. Olivia halts. Ugh, she cringes, but responds smiling. Yes. Inwardly she thinks, he's really getting on my nerves with the first name basis thing. Please excuse me, he says, walking towards her. Ian reaches out and pulls a strand of hair from her face. Olivia is flustered. Your hair was in your face, he says with a smile. She gets dazed for a moment, then says, You could have just told me, he says. You wouldn't be able to see your own face properly. He always has to have the last word. She thinks, annoyed. Thank you so much. I take my leave, for I am busy, she says sarcastically. Olivia stomps away, slamming the door behind her. Ian laughs, clearly enjoying himself. Ha! Olivia and Ramana walk away. Later that night, Olivia sits at her desk. She instructs, Contact the Parnell estate, and ask them to send over my belongings before the ceremony. Ramana asks, Madam? Surely, they would not take such a request so lightly. Olivia responds, That is why I am contacting them. I'm pretty sure my old wedding dress and jewelry are just a burden to them. Tell them we will pay. No need to pay more, just the right value for the goods provided. Ramana examines the document. Do you mean, you plan to wear the same dress from your previous wedding, madam? Ramana seems shocked. Olivia replies, We're in a rush. A new dress would be both a waste of time and resources. A little fixing up would make it look completely new. Ramana spoke. But ma'am, wouldn't it mean bad luck? Olivia smiles, thinking the marriage that began with that wedding dress was a devastating wreck. She muses, If I had chosen to hold on tight and keep the marriage going, would I have found happiness? She quickly dismisses the thought. No, I highly doubt that. That is all just superstition, the maid insists. But Olivia's having none of it. A dress is but an object, and objects do not define one's life. I am happy with saving money and time, the maid simply replies. Understood. A few days later, a letter arrives from the Parnell estate, accompanied by Olivia's possessions. The letter reads, We have no wish to barter, and accept what you have offered. We have rid the house of most of your random trinkets, so not much is left. Olivia smirks. There was only one reason she forced herself to send that letter to the Parnell estate. She looks at a necklace and whispers, Mother, she remembers. There weren't much treasures to bring from my humble home, but this necklace was the one thing I managed to grab. The last thing I have left from my late mother. Olivia clutches it close. Thank God I asked to pay. If I had just asked for it, they would have thrown it away, she concludes. And this marks my final farewell to the Parnell household. Her maid looks on, concerned. Later that night, as she sleeps soundly, Ian watches her. Each day, she baffles me. He ponders how she can be so daring, wearing worn-down clothes but exuding a strong, confident attitude, polite yet fierce, knowing not to cross the line. Acting like an experienced socialite, yet research reveals a different story. He remembers Ramana telling him, Olivia, it turns out, was quiet and polite, not standing out among her peers at the academy. She had a close-knit group of friends, including Romeo Alkesis, a count's son. She majored in accounting and had no opportunity to learn the ways of high society. As you mentioned, she seems to have been completely neglected at the Parnell estate. Ian thinks about her, timid, calm, and not a single touch of high society. He wonders, if that is the case, who on earth is this woman in front of me? His eyes fall on the necklace she's wearing. Is that the necklace she mentioned? He remembers Ramana telling her. It is the only trinket she took from what they had sent over. It seemed to be something meaningful to her. He remarks, a smart move hiding her true motive under the guise of a wedding dress purchase, while her choice also made reasonable sense, given the circumstances. Ian reaches out to her, gently caressing her hand. Dear wife, Olivia frowns in her sleep as he asks, someone must have called you that before. Did he give you that necklace? He grabs the necklace, his gaze intense. The days aren't passing quickly enough. 1 week later, Olivia is getting ready for another wedding. 2 weddings in a lifetime. To her, weddings were a bitter affair. Will this one be any different? She shivers. Ian sneaks into the room. Olivia. She gasps, startled. She turns and says, oh, come on. Can you knock? You gave me a... She stops in the middle as she looks at him. He was quite a looker. He asks, are you feeling okay? You don't look so. He touches her forehead, concern etched on his face. Olivia blushes, flustered. Why am I choking up? Are you feeling okay? He asks, concerned. Olivia's eyes are red-rimmed, and she's trying so hard not to cry. Don't cry, she tells herself. There's nothing to cry about. She grasps at her dress, trying to calm herself. She says, it's nothing, just a little wedding jitters. You get those for your second one too? He jokes. Arg. Olivia's reaction is instant. You really consider yourself a comedian, huh? He just laughs it off. Are you still getting the jitters? He asks softly. A little bit better now, she admits, her eyes downcast. Then, he holds out his hand. Here, take this. It's a ring. What is? Olivia begins, confused. Your wedding ring. As you may be, he starts, but then stops himself. It's nonsense to reuse your old ring, she replies. True, the other half also happens to be in a war zone. Ian's face falls. That's not what I meant, he quickly corrects. Then what were you going for? She asks, skeptical. He sighs, and she thinks. Stop sighing and blurt it out, young man. He grabs her hand, slipping the ring onto her finger. It's such a perfect fit, Olivia says, surprised. Of course I got your size, he says smugly. For my finger? When? She demands, shocked. That's a secret, he replies, grinning. Seriously, she thinks, annoyed. Well, this ring. Olivia trails off, examining the jewelry. I've never seen such a design, Your Grace. A servant interrupts. The guests are in need of your welcoming. Ah, he responds. Olivia stares at the ring, lost in thought. He grins, knowing he's got her attention. He grabs her hand and whispers, I'll see you in a minute, Olivia. Close up, her eyes widen. She thinks, cringing. She thinks, he's really having his fun with me. All this teasing, with such a straight face. I expected him to be as blunt as James, but I was surely mistaken. Olivia smiles softly. I want you to be happy, Olivia, her mother had said. Mother, she thinks sadly. If she had known I had to get married twice, it would have broken her heart. Just then a servant says, Madam, it is time, she says inwardly. But Mom, it's okay. I'm making it through it all. I will not let this new opportunity go in vain, she thinks, steeling herself. I want to be happy. As she enters the hall, announcer says, Here comes the bride. The wedding ceremony begins. The priest intones, As the roots of this joyous matrimony settle, and the blessings of His Majesty, a true blessing for the joyful harmony of the bride and groom, and let their lives, and he continues. The crowd watches, smiling. Damn, the flowers, they must have cost a fortune alone, Olivia thinks. In my past life, I would have fainted from shock. She glances at her groom. At least in this life, I am not the only one attending the ceremony. I also made sure not to invite my father. Flashback to her sleazy father. her father asks. Could you spot me a little for your sister's wedding? A useless bum of a father, she thinks, disgusted. Her father adds about her sister. Thankfully, there was a household willing to take her away at 50,000 dirks, nice and full. She concludes, in this life, I'll make it a point to leave him out of my life. He really made everything in my life worse. She thinks, recalling her past. Given the time, I'll also bring over my little sister. What's on your mind? Ian asks, noticing her pensive expression. You know, just taking all the wedding in. She lies. Liar, are you sure it wasn't the thought of another man? He teases. She replies, smiling nervously. No way. Then they straightened. Ian grins and says, not that many people can think of anyone else with me in the room, she says inwardly. So full of it. But he isn't wrong, he says. If this happens to be a rebound, because you couldn't get with another lover, please speak now. Sorry? Olivia asks, startled. She began. Wait, but the priest interrupts. Bride and groom, the vows of faithfulness. She gets confused. Vows of faithfulness? I don't remember this. Ian leans in close. Olivia flicks her eyes to meet his. She says in her mind. Stop grinning, young man. Ian leans in and whispers to her. I happen to be very adamant about keeping my woman to myself. He leans further and kisses her. After the vows, a noble lady remarks, the Diamond Hall truly lives up to its name. One guest observes. Another agrees, remarking, indeed, the Duke's presence also did the hall its justice. His Grace married. One attendee laments. I expected him to stay single and be an eternal target of affection for all of us. The other lady asks, is that a tear, Josh? But the real tears were in the king's eyes. He sobs, my dear little cousin, finally. The wedding was a grand success, but Viscount Florence, father to the bride, was excluded. Let me go this instant, he yells as he's restrained. And there were a few other minor issues, including no one from the Parnell estate being present. The headlines scream, the Duke is hitched. Who is the bride? Lady Parnell crunches the newspaper in her fist. Later the maids were whispering to each other. The Duke and Duchess haven't shown their faces yet. They must have returned to the estate. The other asks, so they will be consummating their marriage? But isn't the Duke supposed to be impotent? One maid wonders. The other says, but that kiss, that was a lot of passion. A bit too much passion for someone who can't get it up. They wonders, so all the rumors were a lie? Why didn't he denounce any of them? Whether the infamous, impotent Duke could consummate his marriage on his wedding night was a hot topic throughout the empire. Olivia Florence, now Olivia Tyrone, was soon to be the first person to confirm what everyone was curious about. Olivia sighs in relief. Finally done. Ian grabs her hand. Shall we head back? Olivia wonders. Are we not expected to meet the guests? She remembers, even without James there, her last wedding was a busy flurry of lone greetings. People will surely talk if we blow them off. It's already my second marriage. I'm sure His People-Friendly Majesty will handle that for us, Ian says. Olivia is surprised. You're really not afraid to cross the line with His Majesty? She questions. The Emperor handles things for you? Suddenly Ian halts and says, that's rich coming from someone who opened with I like that you have no parents left to serve. Olivia's past mistakes flash before her. I don't know what you are talking about, she says. Phew. Olivia apologizes. I'm sorry. That was inappropriate of me, Ian replies. No need to apologize. On the contrary, I'm actually glad they are no longer with us. Olivia is shocked. Excuse me? Before she can react, Ian sweeps away. What, he's already over there? Just then she notices and says, Ian, you're heading in the wrong direction. The carriages are this way, no? He replies. I know. We are staying a night in the palace. What? Olivia says, completely flustered. In the palace? Ian explains. His Majesty has given us a room. He's also the one who directed us to leave in the first place, Olivia says. Wow, His Majesty does sure hold you dear to his heart, Ian replies. Well, I'm sure he has his own motives, she wonders. Other motives? What else does he get out of this? Is he expressing his trust in me to take care of Ian? Indirectly telling me not to dump his beloved cousin like I did James? Olivia sighs. Then Ian says, we are going to take all afternoon at this rate. Excuse me. He lifts her up and carries her. She exclaims, whoa, she says flustered. We can take our time, you know. It's not like we are in a rush to do anything. Upon hearing that, Ian's face went blank. She notices. He has nice strong shoulders, she wonders. Did James have strong shoulders? She fell asleep in his arms. Later, Olivia is getting ready for bed. So tired. She yawns. Now that I'm loosening up, all the drowsiness is kicking in. The maid says, Madam, come this way. Olivia replies, Yes, yes. As she follows her, she thinks, I just want to lie down. At the chambers, the maid says, His Grace will be joining you shortly. She replies, Okay. While leaving, the maid congratulates her. Oh, madam, congratulations on your wedding. Olivia replies, Yup, phew. Olivia climbs into bed. Now that's more like it. She rubs her face against the covers. Wait, I'm feeling the bed covers a little bit too well. She lifts the covers and sits up. She dazed seeing her dress. She wakes up in a revealing nightgown, and she's absolutely mortified. Wait, what am I wearing? She remembers the maids fussing over her earlier. Was this why they were taking so much care in dressing me? This sleeping garment is way too revealing. She dives under the covers, determined to hide. I'll just stay like this. I mean, we're just sleeping here. No need for him to look under the covers. But of course, that's when footsteps approach the room. Click goes the door, and in walks Ian, looking absolutely divine in a matching robe. Olivia thinks, My God! They dressed him up for the occasion. Under the covers, Olivia internally screams, Ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. Time to sleep. But just then, Ian calls her name. Olivia. Startled, she peeks out, only to be met with Ian's face inches from hers. Kaiawea! Olivia recoils, mind racing. I see his chest. I see his chest. I can see his friggin' chest. She tries to bury herself again. Nope, nope, nope. Ian, clearly confused, pulls back the covers a bit. Why are you wrapped up like that? You're falling asleep? Olivia, flustered, retorts. Yes, I'm tired, so I need to sleep. You had a hard day too. Good night. Ian, still looking concerned, replies, Good night? He leans closer again, and Olivia internally shrieks. Eek! Calm down, heart! He's the impotent Duke. No worries. Then Ian says, Open your eyes. We have unfinished business to handle before we sleep. Flustered Olivia asks, At finish? Besides talking to the guests? He asks, Do you remember what you told me when I called you Lady Parnell? Olivia remembers her words. According to imperial law, any marriage not consummated on its first night is rendered void, she realizes. So the unfinished business is. Ian leans closer. His voice is low and dangerous. What if you tell another man what you told me, and leave me for them, just like with me? He cups her face, and she looks at him, wide-eyed. Then he kisses her. A soft, lingering kiss. Ian pulls back slightly, a smirk playing on his lips. So I'd better make sure our marriage is not rendered void. Olivia is completely thrown. But you're supposed to be impotent. She actually shouts it out loud. Ian responds with a grin. Oh, have I ever said that with my own lips? She recalls. 2 years ago at the ball. You said you didn't get hard. He clarifies. Yes, in that situation, and not for that lady. He continues. I would be no better than a dog if I would get hard for any passing flizzy. Olivia thinks. Then why did he ask me if it was okay for him to be impotent in the first place? Olivia fumes. This is a scam. But Ian is already moving to get closer to her. Let's first remove these covers. Olivia resists, clutching the blanket to her chest. No way! He reaches for her, but Olivia pushes him away. Then she says, I don't want any children. I am afraid to have children. Ian looks at her with concern, gently pulling her into an embrace. It's okay, Olivia. He strokes her hair. There's no need to worry about that. I never wanted any children either. That is also why I did not bother explaining myself. When the impotent Duke title stuck, he leans in, and Olivia looks up at him, her expression softening. He kisses her again and again. He lifts her up, and Olivia cries out. And no! Why is he, suddenly? She fidgets, unsure of what to do. Just then she notices Olivia is understandably flustered. She dodges Ian. He remarks, I never knew you were so agile. Olivia is not impressed. Is that all you noticed? What is that thing on you? She exclaims. Ian smirks. I mean, it came complete with the package. Olivia tries to escape, muttering. Nevertheless, this is not what I signed up for, so good and dash. But wobble. She stumbles, and Ian grabs her. Have I ever told you that you really seem to keep me busy? He says, pulling her close. No need to be tense, he whispers, his eyes intense. Olivia blushes, confused. Huh. Ian smiles reassuringly. I already told you, you have nothing to worry about. And then the kiss. And then the deed. The next day at the palace, Olivia wakes up with an exhausted look, throwing the covers off. Ian stands in the room. Liar! She shouts accusingly. You stupid idiot liar! She continues, clearly annoyed. She mutters to herself about her back killing her. She asks, how did you manage to keep it a secret? He replies, I told you, I just happen to not be a hound that jumps at the sight of every woman. Come to think of it, you were rather rude to me, but I was still willing to forgive that. He asks, why did you think that was so? Olivia remembers. Looking back, it was a little strange. A man who had decidedly lived 2 decades without marriage, so quick to accept my proposal. Olivia reflects. Like he said, it's not like I talked to him in the politest of ways. That means, he did it for one reason. She asks Ian if he had feelings for her. Ian replies, bingo. Olivia asks, for me? Why? That was the first time we met. Ian says, to be honest, it was your looks that did it for me at first. He adds, especially your eyes. Ian continues, then you spoke of your conditions, and I like them. Not wanting any children, on the ball with everything, daring but not greedy. He says, I felt you would have a knack for managing the household and the estate. Olivia exclaims, what if I were to take everything you own, the estate and everything? First impressions can lead to dire consequences. He adds, I also liked how you treated me like a naive little boy, just like this, even when I am older than you. Olivia smirks, thinking, I mean, sure, in this life, he continues. And finally, I made up my mind when you ordered the smoky Earl Grey. That happens to be my favorite type of tea. Ian asks Olivia. See? Do you believe me now? Olivia responds. Ian leans in. And if you still have doubts, you can test Dash. Olivia interrupts. Wait. It's the middle of the day. Right now, I am hungry. Let us get a meal first. Ian responds. Too bad. I guess a good husband makes sure his wife always gets a good meal. He rings for the staff. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Ian tells Olivia. Let us go eat. As the maids arrive, Olivia thinks, at least he's not jumping on me like a hound. A maid asks, Madam, may we help with your preparation? Why, yes, Olivia exclaims. The maids begin to prepare her. They blush seeing something on her. One of them says, Pardon me, madam, the dress we have prepared is this. They present a dress. But I doubt that it would be right for your complexion. The maids nod in agreement. Olivia looks in the mirror and screams, hell no! Hickeys everywhere? The maids covers Olivia, completely hiding all the hickeys. As she follows Ian, she can only think, phew, he wanted to do it in the morning, after making this mess. As the maids congratulate her, she's internally mortified, thinking, so damn embarrassing. I'll never let him have his way again. Suddenly, the door bursts open and who else but the Emperor comes barreling in, yelling, Cousin-in-law! Olivia's mortified, but Ian seems unfazed. The Emperor is just too excited, declaring, I am so glad that you are here. Did you sleep well? Olivia responds smoothly, all thanks to you, your majesty. Olivia's internally screams, and why did he not tell me his majesty would be joining? The Duke, completely in the zone, glances at her and gives her a little kiss. What are you? Have some manners! Olivia exclaims, blushing furiously as she pushes him away. He smirks. But your eyes said kiss me, you fool. To which Olivia retorts, no, they didn't. The Emperor, oblivious as ever, claps his hands together. You two are made for each other. I'm more than pleased. So energized I could skip breakfast. Ian notices the table and says, so, you obviously had breakfast already. The Emperor replies, sorry, I just couldn't wait for you to show up. Olivia apologizes for their tardiness, claiming to feel under the weather, but the Emperor waves it off, saying, you don't need to apologize, we are family. I would never blame you for anything. I am already in debt for accepting my mongrel of a cousin. He tells, last night I dreamt that you would leave him because he couldn't get things working. Back in the present, the Emperor continues to gush. The nightmare had me down here since dawn, had me waiting just in case. So no need to apologize. You can take all the time you want in your chambers. I wouldn't blame you if you were busy till the sun falls. The Duke groans. Your Majesty, I'd rather you not say such things. But the Emperor teases. Oh, sorry, was I talking to you? Oh, yeah? That's right, I was talking to her. Olivia thinks. So this is what the Emperor is really like. There goes my respect for the imperial throne. The Duke's eye twitches as the Emperor continues. Olivia glances and notices that. She thinks, looks like things would have gone down if it wasn't the Emperor. Ian trembles in annoyance. Then the Emperor asks, "How much longer do you plan on staying? I can have the secondary palace quarters set aside for a week." Ian speaks up. "We plan to return home today." Olivia thinks, "Yes, please." The Emperor suggests, "Why such a hurry? Stay longer." The Duke proposes, "Then why don't you send us on a honeymoon?" The Emperor, caught off guard, stammers, "Ehem. As enamored as you may be with the Duchess, participation at tomorrow's Grand Council is mandatory, Duke." He makes a quick escape, saying, "Oh, look at the time. I must take my leave now. Have fun, you two." The Emperor literally runs away. "I will see you again." Olivia, completely done with his antics. Ian says, "I can't stand his theatrics." But as he starts to say something, she cuts him off. "Eek," she squeaks. "Be quiet. That is an insult to the throne." She scolds, covering his mouth. And then, he licks her hand. Olivia is completely flustered. What the heck? Did you just lick me?" she shouts, smacking his arm. He just laughs, staring at her with annoying leer. Olivia flinches, thinking. Ian says, "It looks like the food would have gone cold," he suggests. "Why don't we ask for breakfast in bed?" Olivia nods, but thinks, "I mean, it's just going to be breakfast, right?" The Duke smirks. "Here we go." He scoops her up in his arms and kisses her. "My Olivia." Later, Olivia wakes up with a gasp and sighs. "Not this again." Olivia's had enough. "You're an animal. The people need to know that. I was conned into this marriage." A while ago, she asks as Ian kisses her. "Aren't we having breakfast?" He replies, "Yes, we will, but we still have some time until it's prepared." He plops her back down on the bed. Ian smirks. "So I'll have you first," she says in her mind. "I can't believe I trusted this fool." "Conned into marriage, you say?" Ian muses. "Just to be clear, you approached me." Olivia's stunned. "Does he know something? Romeo can't get in trouble because of this. The reason I even made it this far is because of my favor, the song." As she fell in thought, Ian observes that. Ian's all smiles and says, "Should we head home? Or should we stay a few more days as His Majesty asked?" Olivia doesn't hesitate. "Let's head home." Olivia thinks, "I guess we keep getting pulled into the mood because this is the honeymoon suite. I need to escape to the estate." Ian says it is a shame though. Maybe staying longer isn't a bad idea? Ian's already tracing circles on her back, making her shiver. Eek. Ian smirks. "You hound!" Olivia is grabbing his collar. Wait a moment." She dramatically opens a drawer. "Tada! Let's set up an agreement." Ian is surprised. "An agreement? When did she?" He says, "State your terms." Olivia presents her terms. "First, we always practice contraception." He agrees. "Of course, next?" she says. "Second, while married, we stay true to each other." Ian picks up Olivia's necklace. "That was something I wanted to request." "Okay, continue," Ian says. "Finally, the most important clause, how many times we perform coitus." She holds up a finger. "I propose we limit it to once a week." Ian is not having it. "You're joking?" she replies. "Not even the slightest." She says, "I'm still not sure if I'm completely okay with the act of doing it. I am not saying you are doing anything wrong, and I am not saying it was painful or uncomfortable. It's just..." Her hands fidget. "Still," Olivia declares, trying to sound confident, "I'll fulfill the rightful duties of a wife, so don't worry." She adds, "I will never reject you. It's just the frequency Ian pulls her close. "If it were just the act, without any care for you, it would be something meaningless, forced on you. I have no plans to torture you." Ian holds her, saying, "I just want to bring joy and happiness to your life." Olivia felt touched. He adds, "I for once will never have you trembling in fear by forcing duties and roles on you." She recalls her last night and blushes. He says, "I will wait until the day you feel no more hurt." "Do not worry, Olivia. We can take some time to discuss the third clause." Olivia replies, "Sure. That was your motive all along." Ian grins. He sits beside her. "Who did this to you? Gave you all this fear? Is it your father? Or..." He leans closer, his eyes intense. "A lover?" Olivia's immediate. No. I've never had a lover." "Then I'm glad," Ian confesses. "I happen to be the very jealous type." He leans in close, their faces inches apart. "A few years ago, James Parnell steps briskly along the academy grounds, wiping his brow. As he was walking, someone calls out from behind, 'Excuse me.' He halts and turns to see a girl with silver hair, looking lost. "Pardon me, but how do I get to the academy entrance ceremony?" she asks. James points helpfully. "You're probably over there," the silver-haired girl, Olivia Florence, says. "Thank you so much." James, now alone, sniffs his uniform. "I must have stank of sweat. Who on earth was that girl?" he thinks. "Not really a people person. I went out of my way to find out what her name was. After 2 weeks of asking everyone, I finally managed to get a name. Olivia Florence, accounting major." Back to present Duke Parnell lying shirtless in bed, a bandage wrapped around his chest. "Olivia," he murmurs. He flinches as his wound is tended to. "Arg," his attendant enters asking. "Are you awake, Your Grace?" "You must not move," the Duke asks. "How long was I out?" The attendant replies. "About a week, Your Grace. We have rounded up the spies, but we almost lost you this time." He drifts back into a memory of the battle. "Your Grace, behind you!" someone shouts as a sword swings towards him. Back in the present, his attendant continues. "We never imagined there would be so many spies among us. Thanks to your swift discovery, we managed to keep damage to a minimum. At least that is some good news. The border region, where conflict with the invading people is underway. A troublesome region of war, plagued by constant skirmishes for decades. He was hurt during efforts to capture internal spies that were leaking information to the enemy at this time of conflict." Back in his bed, the Duke is lost in thought. Dreaming of old times. "I wonder if Olivia is okay?" He reaches for something, noticing something is missing. He asks, "Where is my ring?" His attendant replies, "Oh, the ring." The attendant says, "Anyone in the nearby war zone was aware of this infamous ring. As rings burdened the wielding hand, swordsmen would rarely wear them. However, the Duke, Lord Parnell, would never take off his wedding ring, even though he had never seen his wife's face." The attendant muses. "An act of loyalty, I suppose? Sounds like something His Grace would do." He then states, "The inside had worn down, and the ring was broken, probably due to you wielding a sword with it on, Your Grace. They are mending it as we speak." "I see," the Duke replies, but he's distracted by a rather odd feeling. He fidgets with his fingers. "Is it the pain of the injury?" he wonders. The attendant interrupts his thoughts. "There was also a message for you." He hands over a letter. The Duke asks, "From the Duchess?" The attendant replies, "No, Your Grace. This comes from your mother, Lady Parnell. And another message came from the Imperial Palace." The Imperial Palace, he wonders. He tears open the letter. As he reads it, he groans. "Arg, damn it!" His attendant glances over, startled. "What is wrong, Your Grace?" "It was a certificate of annulment." The Duke stares at the certificate of annulment. "An annulment? Why?" The attendant stammers. "Your Grace," the Duke demands, "do you know anything about this?" The attendant responds, "I considered it to be a silly rumor, and did not pass it on to you, Your Grace." "A rumor?" the Duke asks. The attendant nervously says, Lady Florence, your wife, is said to be in an affair with the Duke, Lord Tyrone, and the Duke is not happy." The attendant adds, and His Majesty the Emperor, hearing of this, has eagerly attempted to bring them together. James thinks, the Duke Ian Tyrone? The impotent Duke? How could he even get married? Someone isn't adding up. He is pissed, realizing he never gave his seal for the annulment in the first place. While shaking, he picks up his mother's letter. That reads, "The Flissy Olivia was tainting the honor of our household, and we personally kicked her out. We also plan to retrieve the massive investment bestowed upon the Florence. No need to worry about Olivia anymore. Focus on protecting the outer region." James rips the letter apart and groans in pain. He gasps, wondering what is going on. Olivia and Ian are back at his estate, holding hands, with servants greeting them. "Welcome back, madam." Olivia is thinking about how many servants there are, taking her back. She's determined it's time to forget the past. A new beginning, a new house, new people, a new life. Ian calls out, "Olivia," and offers her some rest or tea in the gardens, but Olivia is having none of it. "I would like some shut-eye," Ian says. "Oh, I wonder if my room has been cleaned." Olivia stops him there. He says, "Come on, it's okay. We're back home." But Olivia isn't convinced. "It's not okay." She reminds him of their agreement, and our agreement dictates. Ian is getting close to her face. "We never finalized the frequency clause." Olivia freaks. "Eek, don't even joke about that. And keep your distance." She demands a 2-meter radius at all times. Ian cheerfully agrees, calling out, "See you at dinner, Olivia." Olivia slams the door. As she enters, Ramana asks if she's okay, and Olivia insists she's fine, but inside, she's spiraling. Foolish of me to believe that he was actually impotent. And if he keeps doing this, she covers her face, steaming. Arg, I don't know. Then, the maid presents her with a message. Madam, there is a message in need of your confirmation, she asks. A message? It's from Florence. Olivia reads the dreaded letter. The investments endowed upon our estate for your marriage to Lord Parnell have been recollected. Your actions will leave us starving. Solve it. Olivia snickers. My father, the Viscount, Lord Florence, not to speak ill of him, but he was one pile of human excrement. He had no business sense, his vanity ventures failed, and left the household in debt. He sold her off to cover those debts, and her sister, Annie, to a drug addict. But Olivia's back, and she can save her sister. Burning the letter from her father, Olivia starts writing her own. Dear father, let us set the facts straight. The debts were of your own doing, and I couldn't give a rat's ass if you starve or not. Please don't write to me about such matters again. She instructs her maid to send 2 letters to the Florence estate. She thinks, as I am back to 20, Annie must be 14. Olivia thinks of her sister. Annie, I promise you that in this life, I will save you from that dirt hole.